For some of the most pivotal years of my life, tears were tucked back and hidden behind a masquerade of being tough, being a warrior, someone who could hustle, work hard, and get things done. But it wasn't until I started to get more in tune with who I really am that things took off in my business. Welcome to I Might Cry, a podcast exploring how heart, mind, body, and spirit are all deeply woven into the way we do business. With guest interviews from experts in business strategy, therapy, emotional intelligence, the human body, and so much more. I'm your host, Elizabeth Marks of Almond Leaf Studios. I've been capturing luxury weddings around the globe for decades and now have the privilege of educating others on how to build and grow profitable business doing what they love. I'm on a journey of self-discovery, of becoming more of the uniquely beautiful, messy, and complex human that I was created to be, and I want to invite you to do the same. Join me on this adventure of uncovering the walls we've built that keep us stuck in patterns of limitation so that we can journey into living life with arms and hearts wide open. Let's venture into this together. We love a good rye whiskey Manhattan, and we couldn't think of a better way to integrate our love for food and cocktails into our business than to develop a quiz that will help you discover what your business is craving. What is it hungry for? We've got 7 short questions to help you uncover areas of your business that maybe need a little love or a little growth. To tap through and find out your results, go to almondleafstudios.com/quiz. Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of this podcast, I Might Cry. I have never podcasted before, and I'm not going to lie, I have already recorded this episode about 27 times, but I've decided I need to practice what I preach and really lean into progress over perfection. So I'm going to take my own advice today, and we're just going to roll with it. I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. Hopefully you don't mind either. We're just going to dive right in. So I thought maybe the best way to start would be to kind of tell you a little bit more about my journey and about why this podcast is happening, why it exists. To kind of back up and give you a little bit of my story, I've always been a very sensitive person. I've always been somebody that feels very deeply. I remember times even as a kid, where I think a lot of us as creatives would identify with this, but I remember this time as a kid where I kind of received the message early on that I was too much. I felt too much. I felt too deeply. I was too sensitive. And so I started to learn this behavior of really shutting down my emotions and really not ever allowing my emotional state to be seen or to be known or understood. It was certainly never welcome, it felt. And I say this with, absolute compassion. I don't feel like my parents or anybody is to blame for this. I think it's just a message that we, can pick up on even subconsciously if we are kind of hardwired this way, where we tend to be more sensitive. So I'm certainly not pointing any blame with it, but I went on this journey, recently of really trying to relearn and rediscover what does it look like to have emotional awareness? Like, how do I what would it possibly look like to lean into allowing myself to show up fully, authentically, even if that means I'm a crying mess. I'm an emotional mess. I cry a lot. And so on this journey, I have also been able to join a group of other humans. Most of them are women who have really committed to doing this hard work, really kind of doing this deep, deep inner work and really, really kind of having a curiosity about what does it look like to do this deep inner healing work and how does that connect to our business growth, realizing that entrepreneurship really is so deeply rooted in who we are and that the growth is always going to be stunted by our own personal healing, the wounds that we have. And so I'm a part of this group of humans that are just incredible as we all learn to lean into healing parts of our past, really, releasing things that limit us, like limiting beliefs that have stopped us from achieving goals or dreams before. So I was a part of this group, and we've had this, it became kind of this ongoing joke where I was like, oh, I'm going to cry again. I might cry if I talk about this thing. I might cry about it. And I just found that they had created such a beautiful space for me to be able to show up authentically, that I was welcome there. I was not only allowed to show up with my tears and my big feelings and my big emotions, but I was actually encouraged to. I was invited to. I was welcomed as me, as this joyful, tearful, deep thinker of a human that has never really been known or seen in my business before. I somehow had always managed to segregate those things. Those pieces of me were separate from my business. And so on this journey of learning integration and trying to really see, how do I show up more fully, more authentically, really stepping into vulnerability, allowing my true self to be seen and known, which brings up a lot of fears. But as I'm on this journey, this continued conversation continued to happen where it's like, oh, I might cry. It kind of became the running joke, especially with one friend in particular. And I remember telling David this story. Was coming away from a conversation with this friend, and I started to just process it with David. I stepped into the house out of our office, and the kids were in bed, and I can remember it clearly where he's sitting on the couch, and I start to just ramble about what I'm so excited about, what I'm learning about myself and about life and how it all connects to my business. And I'm having these like aha moments, and I realize that as I'm kind of articulating some of it, I have this realization, and I literally found myself saying, I might cry. And I stopped and kind of made the joke, maybe we should call a podcast that. And we kind of joked about it and laughed about it and went on. And over the following months, it just continued to come back up where we realized, I think that's the name of the podcast. I think that's actually what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this emotional connection that we have with our bodies, and how our bodies are really a map or a guide to what's going on within us, what needs attention, what needs care, what needs healing, what needs love, what needs expanding. And so that's kind of where it all began. So if you're curious about maybe what the hell we're going to be talking about on a podcast that's called I Might Cry, especially if it's in a business setting, in an entrepreneurial space, the things that I am so curious about, that we'll be inviting a lot of guests. There will not be a lot of solo episodes like this. Most of them will be conversational. And what I really am interested in is really digging deep into healing. So there will be practical business tools and tricks, and, here's all the systems and the strategies. And I'm certainly happy to share some of that with you as well. But really what I'm excited about is creating this to be a healing space, allowing your business to become a place of healing, your business to become a place of growth, of personal development and personal growth, where your business expands you. It expands this container that you've always known for who you are. It expands the ability to show up authentically, to invite you into becoming more of who you're meant to be. I'm not interested anymore in hustle. I lived so many years of my life in this hustle mentality of wanting to prove to myself and prove to others that I am capable. I can totally do this. I can work hard. I'm a hard worker. I am strong. I am independent. I can do, hustle, hustle, hustle. And I'm just not interested in that anymore. I don't know about you, but my life did not feel good living in that hustle mentality. And I think that we have far too long lived in this patriarchy of a culture where we're taught that if you want to be successful, you have to hustle. You have to work hard. You have to really be strong. You have to have grit. And I'm just done. I'm done with that. I want to lean into allowing my femininity, allowing business to flow from a place of ease and flow and femininity, where sometimes I have a little burst of energy and I want to get shit done. And other times I just need to relax. I need to rest. I need to take some time off. I want to lean into, I'm hearing all the background noise of children laughing and playing outside, and it just feels so timely. I feel emotion welling up in me, even in that, where I'm like, yes, I'm not interested in things being perfect. There is this part of me that wants to pause it and redo it. And I'm like, no, that is perfection. It's perfect because it's real. My yard is filled with children laughing and playing, and there is no greater joy than that. And so I'm filled with gratitude for that laughter, those noises. I have so much to be grateful for. And I am learning more and more in my life that gratitude is one of the greatest practices that I can do in my life. It's one of the greatest ways that I can continue to challenge and expand my heart, my business, my abundance, my success, all of it. And I want to invite you to do the same. I want to invite you to practice gratitude with me. I want to invite you into stepping into this healing journey with me. I want to know what it looks like if we give more energy towards our emotions instead of suppressing them, instead of shoving them down, hiding them under the rug, and feeling like we're inadequate, feeling like it's not okay to feel the things we're feeling. I want to know what it looks like if we welcome those feelings, we feel them deeply in our bones, in our core, and we acknowledge what those feelings are trying to communicate to us. I have this quote that I wrote down when I was listening to another podcast episode from somebody else, and I want to read it to you guys. She said, "I hold emotions as a divine source of information that we can use to guide us towards whatever life we're wanting to have or whatever world we're wanting to create." This was by Andrea Renee, and I want to make sure we'll link her in the show notes too. I want to know what is possible for all of us if we become more in tune with how our bodies, our hearts, our minds are guiding us and informing us. What if they actually are leading us towards the truest version of ourselves instead of just something that we need to suppress or overcome? What if we allowed space, even in our business ownership, for big emotions? What if we actually gave value to processing what we're feeling as a part of our business? That we actually value that as time spent in business progress. So on this podcast, we'll be exploring things like emotional healing and how it connects to business growth. And on that note, I want to leave you with a reading. This was from one of the first times that I came away from an experience, an in-person experience with some of the humans that I was talking about earlier. All of these people that are really deeply committed to doing this deep inner healing work. I stopped and I was sitting at a brewery right on the water. It's one of our favorite breweries that David and I have both been to together and separately. We've had some beautiful healing experiences there. And I'm sipping beer and writing down furiously what is flowing out of me. And I want to leave you with this reading. Sipping delicious beer, listening to the sounds of humans enjoying creation, enjoying this life, enjoying pleasure as carefully crafted liquid hits their taste buds and sends pleasure signals to their brain. The gentle sounds of the water rolling over the rocks below it, swishing and swirling and dancing a delicate, harmonious dance as it moves from higher ground to its final destination. But strangely enough, if you follow that little molecule of water that just passed into and out of my presence, you would find that it actually has no final destination. It's much like us, I believe. So often we create this linear thinking, believing that there is some final destination at which we are striving to, supposed to, longing to arrive. But what if it's not actually about a destination? What if it's about the journey? What if we all stopped telling ourselves a story that we will be happy when we will have a new car or kids or a husband or more money or more time or more clients? Breathe. Deep, enveloping breaths of life-giving, soul-nourishing oxygen. Breathe. Just breathe. Simply be here in this moment now. What if this moment right here, right now, was meant for you, made for you, designed for you, and simply because it brings you joy? It's not meant to serve you or to ask you to serve it. It simply is right here, right now. Breathe. Deep cleansing breaths that fill your lungs and bring awareness to your body. Notice your body. Are there any places of tension or discomfort? Breathe into them. Take another breath. Breathe deeply. Inhaling for 3 counts. Holding for 3 counts. Releasing for 3 counts. How do you feel? What comes up for you? Exhale. Let it go. Make space for new, life-giving, soul-nourishing oxygen that fills your lungs and brings life to your body. Breathe. Just breathe. Know that you are enough. Simply because you exist, just as you are today, you are enough. Breathe. Keep breathing. You're enough, and you are worthy. You don't have to do anything or be anyone but you. You are worthy, simply because you are. Do any places within your body feel resistant to that truth? Notice them. Now take another breath and breathe deeply into the place of tension. Hold it for 3. Release it with a deep, strong exhale out your mouth. Just breathe. And so, my friends, I want to say, come along with me on this journey of healing, of growth, of expansion. I'm excited to see what unfolds. If you enjoyed this podcast today, do us a favor and hit subscribe and then leave us a review. In fact, to celebrate the launch of this podcast, we're doing a giveaway of $100 via Venmo for one lucky reviewer each month for the first 3 months. All you have to do is leave a review and be sure to drop your Instagram handle in the review so we know how to get in touch. If you're looking for more, you can find us at almondleafstudios.com or on Instagram at almondleaf. Remember, you are enough. You are love, you are light, and you are worthy simply because you exist.